News Channel.
Wow.
Jimmie Johnson slams the wall in Pocono.
Oh, my.
Fucking brake fail. Wowzers.
Running 7th. Johnson with a brake problem. And Jimmie McMurray has destroyed the right side of his car.
Yeah,
Whose brakes fail? Was it Jimmie Johnson or was it Jimmie McMurray?
I don't know, but I don't know. That's a hard hit, boys. I tell you, that was a big hit for that 48 car. Looks like pretty similar hit for this one car.
As a race car driver, this is one of your biggest fears is a brake issue here. Oh, he's going to get out in a hurry.
They were running 7th and 9th, and it's crash and burn for Jimmie McMurray's car.
When I see that right front on fire on that one car, that makes me think he may be the one that lost his brakes. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to take a look. But that's a fire in the right front, which could be from the brakes. Johnson was.
And that is the first caution flag of the day, other than the stage-ending caution at lap 50. And now fire at the rear of McMurray's car as well as the right front.
I think he knew to bail out of that thing because he got out and ran away from it.
Well, the cockpit is completely filled with smoke.
Yeah, and that's oil that basically has come underneath the car and covered the back of the car.
Jimmie Johnson takes a seat.
That knocked the wind out of Jimmie, Jeff. That was a really super hard leak. Even though that's safer barrier, that got it. That really rung his bell.
Johnson and McMurray were out for a bike ride yesterday and got caught in a downpour.
Yep.
Just and they had to stop their ride. It was raining so hard. And now look at this. Jimmie hops the barrier. Good to see that he is okay. Hard hit and a big fire for his #1 Chevrolet. Jimmie Johnson has caught his breath. And let's have a look at some replays.
See what we can see here, Jeff. Mike.
We're watching the 48 Jimmie Johnson. That's right in the braking zone. See if, right there.
See that smoke, yeah. Actually, the right rear. It looked like fire in the right rear.
It did look like a failure in the right rear. He turns left trying to get away from that wall. Heavy impact. The right side. That'll take the wind out of you. Now, what happened here is what we've got to figure out. How did Jimmie McMurray get involved?
I don't know how much brake fluid would have come out of that 48 car, but it could be that Jamie Mack hit something from the 48 car.
Or were there any parts or pieces that flew off the 48 car?
That is hard.
That's a wicked hit.
Remember, we're talking 200 mile an hour down into that corner.
When Johnson's car was going sideways, inside the right rear wheel was glowing bright red. You don't often see that on the rear brake.
No, there was some fire coming out. I think McMurray ran over something.
And that may have been brake fluid that caught on fire of those hot parts on the right rear that we saw. It was turning red.
All right, we have some audio from Jimmie Johnson's car.
Man, you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Whew, I got away with one there.
And from Jimmie McMurray.
Brake pedals getting pretty long again. Got the fan on the whole time. You're all right. You must have oiled it up or something. Actually, my brake pedal went to the ground.
Oh, man.
Gosh, they both sound like McMurray had trouble with his brakes.
And guys, when you talk about the right rear, remember what I said earlier. It's always a concern. The weak link is melting that O-ring, and when you do that, all the brake fluid just runs out of the caliper.
Our most recent caution, we've only had 2. We're currently under the red flag. That's Jimmie Johnson, the only 3-time winner of this season. And having some problems being able to get out of this car. He was running 7th at the time.
Remember, 200 miles an hour down into that corner. Jimmie McMurray had a brake issue as well. Thought maybe got caught up in some of the debris or oil, but Jimmie said he too had brake issues on his number 1 Chevy.
And for Jimmie Johnson, 3rd time in his last 6 Pocono races that he has crashed out of the race. He's won here 3 times. And again, has the most wins so far this season, hoping that he's okay. And McMurray in a hurry to get out of the car that the fire started, and the one car on the front got to the back in a hurry before they put it out.
Yeah, and we saw Jimmie Johnson visibly shaking. He sat down on that wall and appeared to be fine. Jimmie McMurray was just getting the heck out of there. You see Jimmie. Anytime, Chris, you have contact like we saw there down into that turn, that's as fast as we go in NASCAR. That corner's tight, and the angle into the wall is abrupt, and that's what bit Jimmie.
And earlier, you see McMurray's car being hauled away. Jimmie complaining about some of the heat out of the car before more of that came. We've had 6 leaders, 4 drivers already out of the race, 8 different lead changes. Kyle Larson leads Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Brad Keselowski. Lap 97, a red flag of 160 at Pocono.
Yeah, we're going along here with Jimmie Johnson as Lowe's Chevrolet comes into the braking zone, 200 miles per hour, steps on the brake pedal, and something happens to the right rear brake. You see the burst of flames. That's probably fluid, brake fluid. He tries to get down the infield, comes up, backs into the wall. Thank goodness for safer barriers. Here comes along Jimmie McMurray, also with the brake failure as he went into turn 1.
You know, Mike, you go down these long straightaways and you tap the brake. As you get near the corner, you start tapping that brake to build up some pedal pressure. If you don't have time to do that and your brakes are already maybe a little questionable, I think that may be what happened to McMurray.
And that car's on fire from the right front and from the rear as Jimmie McMurray rolls to a halt. He is now with Matt Yoakum.
He's been checked and released from the Infield Care Center. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, so I didn't really even see the 48 car wrecking until I just went down and I got on the brake pedal, and my pedal started to go to the floor, and I had a little bit that I could kind of pump it, and I thought it was going to be okay, and then I don't know if I got into some oil or what happened, but I just started spinning and didn't have any brakes. So it's really weird that we kind of both had the same thing happen at the same point in the racetrack, but fortunately we're both okay, and yeah, move on.
Thanks, Jimmie.
One of the things I was happy to see, I know he got out of that car before it stopped because he had no brakes. He realized that it's on fire. He wants to get out of the car, but he can't slow it down or stop it because he didn't have the brakes. But the fire extinguisher underneath the hood, that's what extinguished the fire inside the right front of the car where we saw those flames.
All right, let's go back to Matt.
Great to see Jimmie Johnson walk out of the Infield Care Center. Jimmie, had you had any kind of braking issue before that, or it just went right to the floor?
No, it went right to the floor, and I saw a replay inside the medical center, and the smoke, I think, is the brake fluid coming out of wherever, whatever failed and onto the rotors. I can only speculate that I got the brakes too hot, and when I went to the brakes, they just traveled straight to the floor. I didn't even have a pedal to push on. At that point, I threw it in 3rd gear and was just trying to slow it down. I was heading to the grass, and I was wondering why I didn't turn right and get to the wall sooner. But I'm fine. Certainly, a big scare. I haven't had a scare like that since 2000 at Watkins Glen. But just let my wife and kids know, my mom know I'm okay, and I'll go change my underwear and get ready to go home.
A great move to try to catch the apron, to try to catch the grass, to scrub off some speed, but also change the angle of that significant hit.
Yeah, I told myself if this ever happened again, I would turn immediately into the outside wall and try to slow myself down, but my instincts, you're looking at the corner, you look at all that real estate to the inside, and I pointed it down to the infield. And once I was in the grass, I was like, man, I've been here before. I should have just turned dead right in the wall and got to the wall right away, but you have a split-second decision to make there, and fortunately this one turned out well for me. Just an exciting ride.
Thanks, Jimmie.
An exciting ride. Boy, that's the understatement of the year right there. You're going to that corner at 185 miles an hour, and the brakes don't work, and you end up hard and into the wall. Anybody up here know how that feels?
Unfortunately, I can relate.
It's clear and ready to go. Let's join Jamie Little.
Well, the hard hits by Jimmie Johnson and Jimmie McMurray got the attention of all the drivers that are sitting just over my right shoulder in their cars and everybody on pit road. And Todd Gordon, the crew chief for Joey Logano, on the radio talking to his driver after that.
We've talked about this before, but I want to bring it up as a reminder. If you ever had that situation, don't turn left. Yeah, 10-4. He was right next to it, and he turned turned hard left and hit the grass on the infield. Just made his impact harder, you know? Okay. He's out. Took a lick.
That's easy for a crew chief to say.
I was going to say, are you kidding me?
And I'm with Jimmie Johnson. The only one I think I've ever seen do this, and I was so impressed. I think it was Kurt Busch one time, had a brake failure, a tire failure, turned right in the wall, very minimal impact. Yes, that is what you want to do, but the driver's mind in that moment, that instinct, is to turn as far away from the wall as possible.
The natural instincts, you're going to steer into the spin. I mean, that's the first thing you're going to do.
You know who used to be real good at that? Richard Petty. When we'd go to the really big tracks, the really fast super speedways, Richard wouldn't run around the bottom. He'd run way up near the wall. And I asked him why. He said, doesn't hurt so much. You don't hit it so hard when you're already right up there near the wall.
Experience sometimes is key.
Here's another look at Jimmie Johnson.
Boy, he is carrying a lot of speed. You heard him say the pedal went to the floor. That is a helpless feeling at 200 miles per hour into turn 1 at Pocono.
That's a 100-mile-an-hour impact.
Yeah, quite honestly, though, the way it worked out for him, he was able to get the car down in the end. You're scrubbing off a lot of speed before it went into that wall, so it may not be the best thing that he could have done in his mind, but I think it turned out pretty well for him.
Both Jimmie Johnson and Jamie McMurray are okay after near simultaneous brake failure, and both out of the race.